All right, everybody. Celtics go belt to ass on the Los Angeles Lakers, 111-89. Now 2-0 on their West Coast road trip following the All-Star break. We break it down for you. We give you the latest Jason Tatum update because it's that time of the year. So you guys know the deal. This is Green with Envy. Let's lock in. What up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome into a Green with Envy post-game live. Celtics over the Los Angeles Lakers in LA. Just that much sweeter when it's in LA. 111-89. As always, it's your boy Will Weir checking in. How you doing? How you living? And joining me, as he does each and every time, my best friend, co-host, and the coach of our podcast. A happy early birthday if you're listening to us here on a Sunday night. A happy on-time birthday if you're listening to us on a Monday morning, and just maybe a belated birthday if you're listening to us in the future, to my guy, the one and only Greg Benakis, leaving appropriately based off the game we watched tonight, leaving his Marcus Smart year and entering his Semi Ojeleye year. Happy birthday, man. Glad to be here with you.
Well, where is the Lakers offense going to come from? Is it Luka Doncic? Is it LeBron James? Is it Austin Reeves? The whole reason the Lakers have these three guys is because they're supposed to be good at offense. I don't know what the hell happened. They certainly don't play defense.
They didn't break 90 tonight. And in a day and age where, I think I saw the other day that Missoula's Celtics have, it's either 3 or 4 of the top 10 offenses of all time since he's become the head coach. In a day where offense reigns supreme, and you think, to your point, you're putting together a team where that's your identity, right? Like we talk a lot about the Pistons have a star and an identity, and that's part of what makes them so great. The identity of the Lakers is we have 3 ball handlers you can't stop. Well, if you can't put up 90, I don't think you're winning most nights. And tonight, the Celtics put the clamps on. Just a masterful performance. Again, second game of the road trip here for the Celtics, post-All-Star break. Again, I'm just going to keep repeating it because it's beautiful. 111-89 is the final here. And, Greg, there's definitely a lot of guys that we got to highlight kind of individually. But I want to start just from kind of a high level holistic view on this game.
Yeah.
Because you texted me, or you texted in one of our group chats that first half felt like there's levels to this, right? Like it felt like a big time statement. And you saw from the early on in this game that Joe Mazzulla had the idea of setting a different tone for this game to challenge the Lakers and all those guys that you mentioned. And every single person that played for the Celtics was up to the challenge tonight.
So great to see, man. When you think about the Lakers after last season, the one thing that JJ Redick said is we need to get in championship shape. I don't know who on that roster he was talking about because nobody's in championship shape on that roster. And the Celtics just went 94 feet for 48 minutes, and they just put Luka Doncic back into his nightmare from the 2024 finals. That's why I'm wearing the hoodie. That's why I'm wearing the hat, is because the Celtics made Luka Doncic confront his worst nightmare. And that is Jaylen Brown, man. Like Jaylen wasn't on him the whole night, but Jaylen was there and he was like talking shit to Luka. He picked his pocket a couple times, and he was the guy that was out here being like, I'm the MVP in this game. Can everybody stop with this Luka Doncic nonsense? Luka donkey, Luka fatso, Luka doesn't play defense. Like, get this guy out of here with this MVP talk with Luka Doncic. He's not that guy.
Yeah, two of my favorite parts of this game tonight were Luka getting exposed for doing the annoying Luka shit that people just seem to overlook. And I'm talking about, he shoots a 3, he makes it, he sits on the floor and complains. Hugo Gonzalez beats him down the court, gets an easy bucket. Luka, again, complaining, not paying attention on defense. Hugo backdoor cuts him, gets an easy bucket. Like those were things that I love to see. And to your point, I think I was thinking about this during the game, and you have the built-in history of the Celtics and Luka now from the finals, and you have this kind of growing narrative of Luka being placed, even before Jaylen Brown, it was kind of a Tatum argument, right? Where it was all these top 5 lists. It's like, are we just ignoring that Tatum is 100% the more well-rounded player out of these guys? Like, we're just going to completely ignore that because Luka scores 33 and Tatum scores 29-30. Like, we're just ignoring everything else that kind of goes along with it. Now, this year, it shifted Jaylen Brown, and Jaylen, like you said, tortured him in the finals, tortured him again tonight at different points. And I feel like Luka, if we had to do an individual ranking of like players that Celtics fans that draw the ire of Celtics fans, I think Luke, I don't know if he's at the top, but he's pretty close if he's not. I haven't really given too much thought about it, but Luka's got to be right there.
He's such a donkey, dude. He's such a donkey. Like
I get another
everything that
Luka donkey from you.
The Luka donkey, dude. Get that smelly ass out of here, dude. I can't stand Luka. It's so great to see him just doing the same shit he was doing back in the finals, where Jaylen is just out there like, bro, do you want to compete or do you want to complain? Because it seems like all you want to do is complain. And every time we play Luka, if he's not like cooking in the first quarter, he's holding his knee, he's pretending like he's hurt, he's doing all this stuff. It's like, dude, just play basketball. Will you just play basketball at some point? Like, you're so goddamn talented and you're just wasting like the prime of your career being out of shape, not playing defense, and complaining to referees. Like, what are we doing? It's ridiculous. But I do want to shift to some of the positive stuff. Unless you've got more, I'm happy to cook Luka all night if you want to just keep cooking Luka.
I got one more thing because I was thinking about this as well. Is I think everything that you just said is, to Joe Mazzulla, the opposite of like the purity version of basketball. Is like Luka's like an insult to, like, I think Ime was kind of the same way, actually, right? Like Ime and Joe Mazzulla feel like the way that Luka Doncic is, like that the way that he performs on the court, despite his talent, is an insult to like their belief in how basketball should be played. And I think it's funny because I think a lot of the traits that he has is also something that Joel Embiid does a lot of. And those seem to be two guys that the Celtics are just like, we are going to, like, you might get some stats, you might score 30 points, but we are going to terrorize you. We are going to make sure that because we know you're out of shape, that it is shown for everybody to see. And we are going to humiliate you despite the fact that you each might have 30 and 10. Like, you guys might have that, but you're going to lose by 20. And everyone is going to know that you're the reason why, or you're one of the biggest reasons of that pie. And so it's interesting to think of how Mazzulla in his 4 years has attacked those two specifically, because they live in this, or Embiid did until basically recently with all his injuries, but lived in this rarefied air. And those are guys that the Celtics just kind of love to attack.
Yeah, and you just know Joe Mazzulla loves finding like mental frauds, and Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid. I think those are two guys he would have a staring match with and be like, all right, who's blinking first? And it's gonna be you, because I'm sure as hell not blinking. Did you see Joe Mazzulla addressing Bobby Manning in the press conference, where Bobby Manning asked him if Jason Tatum participated in practice, and Joe Mazzulla just dead stare, did not answer, dead silence. That's exactly what would happen if him and Luka Doncic were in a stare match. Luka would blink first, and Joe Mazzulla would be like, I got you. It's the same shit that Mike Tyson used to talk about back in the days. He would stare people in the eye, and then he would wait for someone to look away. And it's like the moment someone looked away, it's like, I know I got him. And that's really what it is with the Celtics and Luka Doncic. Is like everything that they do, as you said, is designed to expose his flaws. And they're going to make him play defense, right? The Lakers go zone for a majority of the game because Luka can't guard anybody. They pick him up 94 feet.
A good zone.
Wasn't a good zone. Shout out to Baylor Shireman, who played great defense on him all night. Shout out to Ugo, who was, right there behind him. And the Celtics were just, they were just menaces the entire night. They were making every single play. And I just kept thinking, like, man, this is the purity that you talked about, the Celtics DNA that just traces back to the Larry Bird era and traces all the way back to the Bill Russell time. Like, this is the basketball that Celtics fans just appreciate and love. That play, dude, where Derek White had the steal, and then Ugo gets the ball, kicks it back to Derek White, throws it up to Vucevic for the alley-oop. Like, that is just like basketball in a nutshell that endears Celtics fans to the game. It's
Right.
like that type of play, that type of effort. And it was just all up and down the roster, man. Like, give me anybody on the roster, and I'll tell you what, they did great tonight. It was phenomenal.
Well, let's go with the big dick menace himself. Let's go with Payton Pritchard, who put his Sir Arlen Payne just on the table tonight. Payton Pritchard, just unbelievable since he's gone to the bench. I think came in averaging just under 22 in his last 7 games since he's gone to the bench. Tonight, 10 of 14, 6 and 9 from 3, 4 of 4 from the line, finishes with 30 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, another buzzer beat. Like, I was trying to explain to Lorena tonight because it was just that first half was so great, such good vibes, and it
Yeah.
ended on that Payton Pritchard buzzer beat. And she was like,
Were
"Wait, what
you just
happened?"
giggling to yourself?
Yeah, I was just like, "Oh my god!" I said something out loud. I didn't remember what exactly was. She's like, "What happened?" I was like, "So there's this." I was trying to explain it. I was like, "There's this guy who like buzzer beaters happen, but they don't happen super frequently, especially to like one person, and he just keeps hitting them. Like I don't know how else to describe it. He just keeps hitting him. And it's funny, 'cause he went for this little stretch where he didn't hit him, and now I think he's hit like 5 in his last 13 games over whatever it is. And Payton Pritchard, I think we got to start here because he was just unbelievable, start to finish. Really came in and gave the Celtics a boost, right? I think probably in that first quarter, early second quarter, when the game was still a little bit tight, and that's really when it shifted, along with all the other hustle plays that you're talking about. Pritchard was the offensive engine that kind of ignited everything tonight.
Oh, he was so good, man, in this game. Like 10 for 14, 6 for 9 from 3. It just felt like he didn't.
30 points on 14 shots for your 6 man coming in. That's crazy.
Dude, he was just so good, and there's nobody on the Lakers that can guard anybody, really. Like, they don't have any good defensive players. Like, poor Marcus Smart just looks like a corpse out there. Guy's playing like 30 minutes a night for the Lakers, and I mean, Marcus might as well have been playing for the Celtics tonight, as bad as he was. I think with Pritchard though, man, like, when he gets people out in space, he talked about it. I caught very briefly. He did the post game interview on the court, and he was like, "Man, I just like the ball." And they were like, "You didn't have to put people on skates like that." He's like, "This is just what I do. Like sometimes when I get the ball in space, I just like to make my moves. Yeah, this is what I fucking do." And it was great to have one Reggie Miller on the call tonight, because he mentioned at the end of the game, all the flack that he got because Caitlin Clark didn't like the comparison to Payton Pritchard when Reggie Miller was asked about who he would compare Caitlin Clark to, and she basically cried about it. It's like, well, he had a reason to compare Caitlin Clark to Payton Pritchard, because Payton Pritchard is a fucking baller, and he hits like all of these like deep 30-foot shots at the buzzer, like all this great stuff that Caitlin Clark does. Yeah, Payton Pritchard does the same shit, right? He's not like the face of the NBA like Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA and women's basketball. But Payton Pritchard is so goddamn good. And Reggie Miller, Jamal Crawford, who is from the same area, out in the Pacific Northwest as Payton Pritchard, and he was just talking about him all night. They were just singing his praises all night. And it was great to see, because Pritchard, people recognize that he's good. Obviously, 6th man of the year last year, but he doesn't get quite these moments that some of the other guys get on national TV, where he just balls out. Like the Celtics used to famously give him, the games against Detroit back in the day, the games against Charlotte, where they'd be like, "Hey, yeah, like we don't really need the Tatum and Brown to do their thing. Let's just run it through PP so we can get his stats up."
And what do you have, back-to-back triple doubles, like the last day of the season, like his year 2 and year 3 or something like that, when he got to run the show. And I think it's really cool that we've had a chance to watch, and this is the beauty of the Celtics having this culture, right? Where we've seen a lot of these guys in their entire progression. And now you see when Pritchard is feeling it, number one, his teammates, including Jaylen Brown, who's going to be in the MVP conversation, are like, "I trust you, man. You're cooking. Like, I'm out the way. This is your show right now." And they feel that confidence through him. And you can watch him on the court in the way that he maneuvers, and especially because it used to just be like, "Oh, Peyton's hot from 3." And that's how he got a lot of his points. Now he's like, "Come get this business inside the lane, pivot foot, inside out, use my body, little chicken wing, get some space."
The Jalen Brunson special, man. I've been saying it for years. He reminds me of right-handed Jalen Brunson, and playing off of 2 feet in the lane. I really think if you asked him, if you gave him truth serum, and they had him in a candid moment and say, "Whose game do you study?" I guarantee you he studies Jalen Brunson's tape, because the way he plays off of 2 feet, it's just special, man. Like, not many guys can do it. Not many guys can do it at that size. But, it's funny that you went to seeing Payton Pritchard's progression. Because as I was talking, I was like, man, how cool is it that Payton Pritchard has like reached the potential that we hoped when we drafted him? Was it late first round or early second round? Whenever we drafted
I
him,
think he was in the 20s. I forget exactly what it was.
yeah, I want to say it was like late 20s, but maybe look that up. But yeah, man, just to see, when he first joined the
26.
Celtics, okay, and we were like, man, Marcus Smart better watch out because Payton Pritchard's coming for those minutes, and it didn't really manifest until Smart left the Celtics and Pritchard
We
really
had to
got
pump
his
the
job.
brakes in the Great White Hope. We know what that does to the city of Boston when that happened. So we were like, all right, we can't put the gasoline on this flame right now.
Yeah,
but
and then
it's
but
true.
his rookie year, remember, he was like starting to get some minutes at the end of games, and then he hurt his knee, ended up like losing a lot of momentum that rookie year, and coming out of Oregon, like he was such an interesting prospect because he was undersized, obviously a white guy, spent either 3 or 4 years in college. I think he was all 4 years.
It's all four.
And
Yep.
yeah, and he was just one of those guys where people like, yeah, he's an older rookie. We don't know what he's going to be in the NBA. Yeah, he's going to be able to hit some threes, but like, is he going to be able to compete? Is he going to be able to hang athletically? And he is just every single year added something to his game. He's an absolute tank. Like nobody can, if you try and back him down, you're not backing him down. If he takes you into the post, like you're getting pushed off your spot. All these things that Payton Pritchard does are things that he's clearly had to work on and hone his craft on for the last decade. And it's showing, man. He's turning into a really special player.
And here's the biggest thing I think long term with him is we've said over the last couple of years, teams that are big and with length can sometimes give him trouble. And those are just bad matchups. Now, listen, Lakers not a good defensive team, but they're a pretty big team, like overall, right? Like, and he was seeing Jared Vanderbilt, he was seeing Rui, he was seeing
when
Marcus
he put
Smart.
Jared Vanderbilt on his ass, dude, with that step back three. That was the highlight of the year for Pritchard.
Yeah, and so the fact that he's taking these guys on again. Lakers, not world beaters when it comes to the defensive end, but just the size of some of these guys that Pritchard's going up against that are 6'5" and above, right? Like, and that's not giving him, not to say that you can't find defenders that would give him trouble that fit that mold that are probably top tier, but that's kind of the fucking point. Is like you got to get to like an OG to be like, yeah, OG would probably bottle him up and have trouble with, but like if you're going anywhere below like that top level of guys, Pritchard's just playing and he's cooking. It doesn't matter like what team, like, and he's gonna find a way to contribute, and that even just adds even more fuel to the fire when you think about Tatum coming back, and now it's like, okay, so now you got to choose your top defenders, and like you're not taking the OGs or whoever those top defenders are off of Tatum and Brown, and so now you're leaving White and Pritchard back to deal with your third, fourth, fifth level defenders, and that's just so much trouble for the opposing defense. And Pritchard is. I think just the bench role. Some guys just that's just their thing. Like Jamal Crawford was on the call tonight. Him and Lou Will, that was just their thing. Those guys could have easily been starters in a lot of other positions. This might just be Pritchard's thing. It's just like, yo, let me be the sixth man. He played just about 38 minutes tonight. Like he can still doesn't have to start, but he can still play 30 plus, close to 40 minutes on nights when he's cooking like this. So it's been awesome to see him come back into this role and not regress, and in fact actually take what he learned as a starter and seemingly just apply it to his role that he's back in again, that he was so successful in.
Yeah, he led the team in minutes tonight, 38 minutes off the bench. Let's talk about
Joe's gonna
Jaylen
get
Brown.
him off the court. Yeah, Joe's gonna get him off the court though when we're up by 20. Let's go Jaylen Brown here just real quick. I'll give you his stats and I'll let you run with it here. He played 36 minutes, not the most efficient night, 10 of 28, 3 of 9 from the field, did get to the free throw line 12 times, 9 of 12, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, 32 points, plus 18, another all-around game coming off a triple-double against the Golden State Warriors. Greg, have a way at it here. Wanted to get the stats out there for everybody, though.
It just goes back to the quote that he had that we referenced on the last podcast. We're talking about like how his game doesn't really translate well to the analytics of everything. 35% from the field, 32 points on 28 shots. If you just look at the box score, you might not understand the impact that Jaylen Brown had on this game. Be like, oh, Jaylen's out there chucking or whatever. Like Jaylen Brown is playing the best basketball of his life, and he's doing exactly what the team needs him to do. The defense that he has, like the playing defense in big moments, I think is what really stands out with Jaylen. these plays that swing the tide of the game, these rebounds where he comes flying off the perimeter and, you know, two hands grabs a rebound in traffic, like all these things that Jaylen Brown does. And when you see other guys hitting shots, like Jaylen, I think he's averaging like 12 or 13 potential assists a game this year. And you know, the last game he had
He's got
15 rebounds,
assists.
13 assists.
20 assists in the last 2 games.
Yeah. It's because guys are hitting shots now. Like Jaylen creates guys. He gets guys open every single night. It's just the Celtics need him to do a lot, and he's willing to, you know, shoot through bad nights, and he's not worried about his field goal percentage. He's just out there doing what the team is asking him to do. And the defense that he had tonight on Luka, on LeBron, on Reeves, you know, everything that he needed to do, and the Celtics asked him to do, he's willing to do it. And that's just leadership. And that's what Jaylen Brown, you know, has been all about this season. And it's great to see him do that back in LA after the whole Beverly Hills incident, where, you know, he had that breakaway dunk hanging on the rim. And I was just like, imagining Jaylen Brown, you know, flipping off the LAPD or Beverly Hills cops. Like,
we must be best friends. I had
this.
a very similar thought. And also our friend who doesn't really follow basketball texted us about it today. And so it was kind of fresh in my mind. And as he was going for that dunk, I was like, I wonder if he would just hang on the rim and just go, fuck Beverly Hills.
Yeah, I was really expecting it. Pull a Colin Sexton.
Like Wait, what's the Colin Sexton?
Oh, you didn't see him flip off the rim?
Oh, I did see that actually last week or something. Yeah, okay, I did see that. But yeah, I was thinking about that with Jaylen Brown. And, you know, as we're live right now recording this here, I'm kind of periodically refreshing NBA.com, hoping we get the hustle stats, because I think Jaylen Brown was a leader in this tonight that I want to see is how many deflections the Celtics had. Not all of them ended up in steals. So I really want to see what the deflection numbers look like for the Celtics in this game.
The only stat that like kind of showcases exactly how dominant the Celtics were, I think, are the rebounds. The Celtics out rebounded the Lakers 61-47 in this game.
Yeah. I mean, I think just in general, like Jaylen Brown set a tone, and he also closed. And that's the part that I think stood out to me, is when he closed the game out, right? Because Pritchard did so many things that we already talked about. I think we need to talk about Neemias Queta here in a minute, because he was awesome as well. But I think at the end of the day, one of the things that you look to from your superstars is you can have kind of an iffy game through 3.5 quarters, but you got to be able to shut that door when the opportunity comes. And Jaylen absolutely did that tonight, right? And that's the thing that really sets the top tier superstars apart. Like, I was watching Knicks Rockets last night. Brunson was kind of quiet, kind of bottled up towards the end of the game, and then he scored like 11 of their last 13 or something. I forget what the exact number was, but hit 3-4 massive shots down the stretch. This game, you know, the Lakers in the fourth, I think they got it to maybe within either 7 or 8, maybe 9, something like that, where it was like, okay, maybe they're gonna come here and make a little run, and Jaylen just put the kibosh on it, right? And then got it up to that 20, and then it was just waving the white flag. So I think that's the other next level here is there's two things. There's the all-aroundness that Jaylen Brown is getting to showcase as he is the main guy. And then number two is, I think, him being able to seize the moment, understand the moment, and know when it's time to kind of put your foot on somebody's neck and just shut the door. And he did that tonight and extended the lead to a point where, you know, we had subs playing the last 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah. And you mentioned Queta. I do think, excuse me, I do think we need to talk about how he just outplayed DeAndre Ayton for the second time this season. Like straight.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this because that was your hey, why would I ever want DeAndre Ayton when I just have Neemias Queta? Like, that's the better version
player
of the two.
Better player, he tries harder,
no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, he had 3 blocks in this game, a couple of huge blocks on LeBron.
2 on Brown.
Just one of those guys that is another developmental success story that the Celtics just keep pulling out there. Like all these guys that the Celtics have that are homegrown talent. Like obviously Queta wasn't drafted by the Celtics, but we developed him. You know, Jaylen Brown, Sam Hauser, Neemias Queta, Baylor Shireman, Derek White has emerged with the Celtics, Payton Pritchard, Jordan Walsh, Hugo Gonzalez, like all these guys that are homegrown products. It's really special to see. And Queta turning into this level of player, it's just a game changer because, you know, there's a lot of questions about whether or not Vucevic might steal the starting role when the Celtics made that trade. And it's just no question Neemias Queta deserves to be the starter for the rest of the season and for the rest of the time that he's in Boston, is if the Celtics can afford him and at the end of next season. But he was just great tonight, man. 4 for 5 from the field, had that monster dunk in traffic, hit both his free throws, 12 rebounds, 4 offensive rebounds. I feel like he had some big ones in the fourth quarter as well. He was just great. He's just great. And going head to head against DeAndre Ayton, the Lakers fans got to be like, what the hell? Like, we're supposed to have the number 1 pick guy, like why is our former number 1 pick playing worse than this guy who got cut by the Kings?
Any red flag for you with Queta that seemingly his over under for the number of times that he's going to fall in one game is about 3.5? Any concern that he just constantly ends up on the ground at random points and either hits his head or the fall against the Warriors? I can't lie, I laughed when he fell over when he pulled the West Todd, which if you know, you know. And,
Shout out West.
And I just feel like there's just a lot of times where Queta ends up looking like a baby deer and just is like, I'm like, Queta, he's on the ground again. He gets back up every time, but that's at this point, that's the only concern I have with Queta, because the rest of it's great.
Man, I'll tell you what, the Celtics wouldn't be able to survive without Neemias Queta. He's been that good.
No. I mean, obviously Jaylen Brown's the MVP of this team, but Queta might be second just because of where he was, what the expectations were for him. And, I definitely was a guy that came in saying what he's given us right now would have, if you had told me what we were getting from Queta right now is what we were getting, I would not have believed you. I would have been like, maybe, I would say it's probably a bridge too far and he's maybe a level below what we're getting. But right now if to your point that you said earlier, if the Celtics is here next year, the Celtics can find a way to get him on one of those team-friendly 4-year, Luke Cornett type contracts that we couldn't do this offseason for Luke, but if we could do one for, Nemi next year, like that's your starting center. I don't think we need to worry about a starting center. We need a long-term backup. Maybe that's Vooch, maybe that's somebody else. But if you can lock in Nemi this upcoming offseason, which I think that should be at the top of Brad Stevens' priority list, like this is your center potentially for the next 5 years. And I feel great about it.
That's what I said when the Celtics didn't trade for Zubac, right? I was like, trading for Vucevic is a bet on Neemias Queta, because if you're going for Zubac, that means you don't believe Queta is your starting center for the next 5 to 7 years. Trading for Vucevic means you've seen enough from Queta. You understand that he is the guy.
Yeah. Let's go to, I want to bundle these next two guys here into one, and you've touched on it a little bit. I want to talk about Baylor Shireman and Ugo Gonzalez, because the two of them, this is a lot for Joe to put on a rookie and a second-year guy, where basically from the jump, he's like, so you guys tonight, not a big deal, but you guys are going to guard Luka Doncic all night. So good luck. And they were up to the task. Luka finished with, on the night, I think he was, 9 of 22 and 19 complaints to the ref, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, finished with 25 points, only 2 turnovers. But, and I don't know if it was Reggie or Jamal pointed this out, and this is something that we've seen, as I mentioned, the Celtics do with Embiid, with guys like Luka, who they're just like, you guys aren't in fucking shape. So what we're going to do is maybe you'll get some buckets early. You'll get some buckets here and there when you get in the lane or get in transition. But if we just keep making you work, odds are you're gonna stop before we do, because we've got the cardio, we've got the bodies that we can continue to throw at you, and you're not gonna have the mental fortitude to be able to you're gonna have the mental fortitude or the physical stamina to overcome this. And that was a big part of what Baylor Shireman and Ugo were able to bring, just constantly harassing Luka. So I'd love to get your coach's take on their approach to just being in Luka's grill for most of the night.
I think that's actually a relatively easy job to ask a young guy with energy, is just to pick up 94 feet, right? If it was somebody who played a little bit more of an unpredictable style of offense, it might be a taller task. But Luka, you know what he's going to do, man. He's going to dribble the ball up slowly against pressure. He's going to try and bait you into pump fakes, jumping on pump fakes, which he was able to get Ugo once. I don't even think he ever got Baylor. And he's just going to move at his pace. So as long as you don't fall for the fakes, you're just going to get in his grill and you're going to make him work. And those guys are two of the hardest working guys in the NBA. And when you go up against Luka, who's one of the like least hardworking guys in the NBA. It's just such a stark comparison to see that juxtaposed against each other, offense and defense. And Baylor and Ugo were up to the task, man, as you said. And it's on JJ as well for the Lakers. It's like, you have LeBron, you have Reeves, just have them bring it up. Like, why are you guys having Luka deal with 94 feet of pressure the entire game? Unless this is him trying to get in shape for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, Reeves was really until the last couple of buckets he got was kind of a no-show in most of this game, right? Like you didn't feel Reeves' presence at all. LeBron had a little bit of a run, but you know, LeBron's 40, right? Like there's only so much you can expect out of LeBron night to night.
He looked 40. Yeah, he looked 40.
He looked
First
40.
time
He
like
looked
LeBron
40.
really
He's a good
looked old to
40-year-old, but he's 40. Yeah. So I mean, the Celtics tonight, I just think their identity was, you know, just too much for the Lakers. Their identity was what won them this game, their mindset, and they came out from the jump and it overwhelmed them. Do you have anything else that you wanted to get to here? I got one thing I want to go to outside of this game, but anything else that you had from this game that you wanted to hit on?
No, I'm good.
All right. So I wanted to look at this here, Greg. So the Celtics right now are 37-19. Are you familiar with Phil Jackson's 40-20 NBA rule?
I am. I don't know what it ends up meaning. Is it just means you're a real championship contender?
Right. So it's similar to what I've used a lot, which is like if you have a top 10 defense and a top 10 offense rating wise, typically that's at the end of the season. That's usually your pot of contenders. It's not 100%, but generally. So in Phil Jackson's 40-20 theory, if you can win 40 games before losing 20 games, that's over 90% of the NBA champions since 1979 meet that criteria. So it's a pretty good measuring stick. So Celtics, I didn't think we're going to have a chance to really get to this, so I hadn't really put too much thought into it. But as they're 37-19, Greg, let me read you the next 4 games the Celtics have here. So they're halfway through this West Coast trip. We've got a day off and then a back-to-back coming up here Tuesday, Wednesday. Phoenix, who just lost Dylan Brooks. He broke his hand or fractured his hand. He's out for a while.
Booker's out.
So I'm not sure. I have to double check that. But if that's the case, Phoenix, either way, undermanned. Denver, kind of constantly dealing with some injuries, but of course, still Denver, still Jokic, still Jamal Murray and company. Celtics have a day off. They come back home, and then they've got Brooklyn on Friday, followed up with Philly in that March 1st game that's been so talked about on Sunday night that got flexed into Sunday Night Basketball for next week. So those are your next 4 games. Celtics got to go 3-1 to hit that 40-20 rule. There's a good chance that they hit that rule, and that's really crazy to think about from where we started the season when we lost 3 games in a row. If you're like, imagine, think back to the podcast we did, which was hilarious. I kind of want to go back and listen to it because it's so fucking stupid now when you think about how everything else that has happened here. I think at one point we surmised might not win a game until what was the season start in October? I think we said November. We thought they might go a whole month.
We thought we were going to have the Pacers season, man. We really did.
Exactly.
But Booker is out. So Burks and Booker both out. Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson still out for the Nuggets.
So Celtics got to go 3-1 in this stretch to hit the 40-20 rule. I think they get it done, man. Like it's lining up that this is a path for them to find. And again, it won't necessarily definitively make them a championship contender, but for them to get here and Jason Tatum still hasn't come back, that's fucking remarkable, man.
This is probably the most fun I've had watching a Celtics team since the Isaiah Thomas year, where that was just like so out of the blue. Like nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw the king of the fourth. Nobody, aside from a handful of people, saw this coming out of the Boston Celtics. And they are, excuse me, I'm struggling here. They are the fourth best record in basketball right now. Only the Pistons, the Thunder, and the Spurs have better records than the Boston Celtics at this point in the season. It's remarkable.
Yeah, we're going to do a deeper dive here later this week on just the Celtics, the East landscape, Joe Mazzulla for Coach of the Year. We got a special guest coming on here that we'll have later in the week to help break us down with all of that, because it really just has been that special of a season. And so for the Celtics to be on the precipice here of a 3-1 record against a banged up Phoenix, a banged up Denver, a Brooklyn team that's looking towards next year, and then a showdown with Philly, which Embiid is banged up as well too. Shocker.
Mhm.
That, I don't know what his return date is, but he was getting evaluated over the break. As far as I know, I don't think there's been a return date set. And of course, everyone's eyes are peeled to that game as potentially a return from Jason Tatum, which leads us into probably our final topic of the night here, Greg. Tatum watch. Dun dun. Did you like that I put Brian Fantana in the
That was
in the
great. I
thumbnail?
saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
And it
Tatum watch.
made me giggle.
Tatum watch. Day 35. We got the latest updates here. Or in latest by updates, by the way. All I'm saying is we got maybe some new info. And to Bobby Manning's question that Joe Mazzulla did not want to answer, we got a photo of him participating with the actual Celtics. So last week, Tatum gets activated and practices with the main Celtics. This week, as they had 2 days off between the Warriors and the game tonight against the Lakers, they had the opportunity to practice. We get some still shots. I don't believe there's any video. I didn't see any video unless you did. I just saw the still frame of him driving against Luka Garza with an active shot clock in the background, which some are like, hey, this is a live scrimmage, potentially trying to ramp Tatum back up. And during the broadcast today, they mentioned the quiet work again. The documentary's getting momentum. It feels like it's happening, Greg. It just has to happen. Like I can't. This is too much buildup and too much buildup for it not to happen. Right? There's too much going on. Too much smoke.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't need collective blue balls as Celtics Nation. Like this needs to happen. We need to reach the climax of this return.
Yeah, no more edging. I think we're ready. I
Yeah.
think we're ready for this one to reach
Fully,
its full potential.
the oven is beeping. It is ready to cook. Insert Jason Tatum. Insert Jason Tatum here.
Man, a lot of stuff you can do with what we just said right there. But Greg, so we're 2 games away from hitting the home stretch where, as we've said here a couple times now, between the 27th and probably about the 18th against the Warriors, like that's the window. Are you bold enough to officially lock down a particular date that you think it's definitively happening?
I'm ready to buy tickets for the Celtics Spurs on March 10th. Let's go.
Well, that's coming. I'm getting those either tonight or tomorrow, so we're going to be locked in on that. So if you guys are going to be if anyone here is listening that is in Texas is going to be at that game, hit us up, slide into the DM, CelticsNoise@gmail.com. Would love to connect with you guys. We will be in San Antonio for that game, and hopefully we'll get a chance to see Jason Tatum in that one. But Greg, I think we're going to wrap it up here for tonight. Because like I said, we got another podcast coming here in a day or two. We're going to deep dive into the Eastern Conference, the playoff picture, Joe Mazzulla, how this season has come to be and what to expect down the stretch. But any final thoughts here, Greg, before we sign off on this one?
No, thanks everyone for rocking with us, man. Let's keep it going.
And Greg, happy birthday. So make sure if you guys are listening here, shout out. Make sure you give Manakis Music a follow here. Wish him a happy birthday. Year 37 coming on the books. 37, man. Late official. I think you've already said this. Officially, late 30s starts in approximately 3.5 hours. How you feeling?
Existential crisis begin.
All right. Hopefully Greg's still doing okay by the time we check in with you guys later this week. But again, Celtics 111-289 over the Lakers. Belt to ass. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your Monday for listening to this the day after the game. And we will catch you guys later this week. Peace.